All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Sunday, August 17th. We got 4 MLB plays coming your way in today's video. Normally, guys, if you're new, normally when we aren't traveling, we're going through the entire slate, giving you my prediction on the side, the total, any player props that we like in each and every game. But when we do travel, we shrink the video down here. And today I have 4 plays coming your way. We have 2 totals as well as 2 player props there. I like these. In terms of yesterday, though, I like these plays. We ended up going 2 and 3. That Blue Jays play smacked. They scored a million runs and took home the bacon there. And then that Braves Guardians over 8. I kind of spoke into existence what ended up happening, right? Because we also had the Guardians money line in that game. And I said, hey, if the Braves are going to go off and help the over, then great. I shouldn't have said it because we put that right into the ether. But that over hits, but the Guardians obviously lose. Then we had Agustin Ramirez there under 1.5 bases. He hit a dinger, which seems to happen a decent amount when we take these guys unders. And then Shea Langeliers over 1.5 bases. That does not come through. So it wasn't a terrible day, but I really did like these spots. And 2 and 3 was not exactly the result that I was looking for there. In terms of the ride of the day, we did not end up picking one. Just the day kind of got away from us. So get those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. We do have a very, very busy day today. Won't be around the phone or computer too much. So hoping to be able to pick one. But even if we don't select one, we'll get back on the train once we get home for the normal videos. But even if we don't pick one, right? Like, you guys are helping out a ton of people in the comments. If you don't know what the ride of the day is, just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump aboard with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. And make sure you guys are giving credit to people. I see it all the time. People riding with others. And, I love the giving them flowers in the comments when you're like, hey man, I hit that because of you. The comment section has some absolute bangers and more often than not, some better plays than we're talking about in the video, right? So go and give your flowers to people that you're riding with in the comments. But use that hashtag right of the day as a way to let people know that that is one of your favorite plays of the day. But what do you say we go ahead and dive into play number 1 here? If I had the Psycho alert alarm on the soundboard, it might be worth using for this one. We have the Rangers and the Blue Jays first 5 under 4.5. Now, the reason this might be a psycho play is because you have Toronto, who's obviously been on a scorched earth pattern over the last couple months in terms of how many runs they've been scoring. They are going up against Nate Eovaldi, and in his last start, he did not look all that great. If you guys recall, we had the first 3 under with him against the Diamondbacks. He went 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned, just 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 home runs allowed in that one. So yes, maybe it is a little sketchy backing Nate Eovaldi, but that was more of an anomaly than the most starts in his season, right? Prior to that, 7 2/3, 1 earned. That was against Houston. 5 innings pitched, 0 earned. That was against Atlanta. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned against the Angels. Then he went 8 innings pitched, 0 earned against the Yankees. Are any of those offenses Toronto? No, but he does have a couple decent starts under his belt, dating back the last couple years against his Toronto squad. I don't love his second most recent start, I believe it was. That was 4 innings, 2/3, 7 earned. That was in Texas, though. Maybe he likes to pitch in Toronto a little bit more. So we're trusting Nate Eovaldi, and outside of Toronto's offense, right? When we just look at him on the season, he's at the first 5 under when he pitches with his team here under 4.5, 65% of the time. And on the road here, he's done it 70% of the time. That's 7 of his 10 road starts. Eovaldi's been able to keep this under. Now that's Cincinnati, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, Boston, Detroit, Yankees, Angels, Houston. None of these, again, are Toronto. I get it, but I'm trusting one of the best pitchers in the league here to bounce back after a really bad start. Maybe Toronto's offense isn't as hot as it was yesterday, and we're looking good. Now, we've talked a lot about Nate Eovaldi, not necessarily the other side of things, which is going to be Jose Barrios. I don't mind him here. He's another guy that is, better against righties, and some of those righty bats are good in this Texas lineup. We're going to have to sweat out those lefties, obviously. Seager, even Peterson, who's been a little bit better. But still, this is not a lineup, I would say, on the Texas side of thing that scares me all that much. And you're going to get a ton of sinkers out of Jose Barrios, right? That's one of his best pitches. 30th is where this Texas Rangers team ranks against the sinker. The curveball, okay, bottom 5 in the league. Then the fastball, okay, they're bottom 10 in the league there. And then the changeup is that next pitch. That's the only one that this Texas team really does hit well. And honestly, from a hit well perspective, Simeon, Seager, some of these better bats, I guess you could say, in the lineup don't hit that well, right? It's going to be the Wyatt Langford, Rowdy Tellez, Josh Young, Evan Carter. Those guys are really boosting sort of the ratings for that changeup. So realistically, realistically, any pitch we're seeing from Jose Barrios, I like the matchup there against this Texas squad. He is a righty. This Texas lineup has been struggling against righties. I don't think that their offense really has been anything to write home about in the first place, right? Yes, they've gone, 5-4. I think it was 2-2, 3. Then they had this 7 against Arizona. There is potential in that lineup. But again, it's Nate Eovaldi here. I'm looking for him to bounce back. So that first play is going to be the first 5 under 4.5. We're getting minus 115 there. This next one I really like. We are paying a little bit of juice for it. There's another pivot if you think 160 is too much juice, which I get it if you think there it is. But in other books here, we're seeing this at like minus 175 and stuff. So still some value, I believe, over on. Make sure we get the correct book up. Yes, Caesars minus 160 here. Everywhere else, this is minus 175, minus 180. Over on BetMGM, minus 185. So that's where I think a little bit of value comes in. But if you do want to pivot to under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, you're going to get like minus 110 odds here. I like Benintendi's under for a couple different reasons here. So he's going up against Ryan Berger today, who I do think has some talent. He's batting just 217 against righties on the season. Berger being a righty. Batting average of balls in play is just 224. His ISO drops down to 147. His extra base hit percentage down to 33%. Berger, now, this is where it gets interesting. 144 average against in terms of him pitching against left-handed bats. I love to see that. The fastball is something that Benintendi might hit, but then the slider being that next pitch, 35% K rate and a 194 WOBA against that pitch. I really do think if Berger's slider is working, he can use that against Benintendi in probably make him look like a fool a few times here. The good news is as well, even with our pitch mix rating, we have Benintendi out of 10 at a 2.8. That slider being the main one that's weighing things down, and even the fastball, the one that he's hitting well, just a 0.6 runs above average against that pitch over the last 30 days. So I do think that, that slider being the main pitch, obviously from Berger, is going to be huge, but even the fastball, like maybe Benintendi gets a hit, don't think it'll be an extra base hit, and it doesn't matter if he's on base to come in and score a run or anything like that. That's why we're looking at the bases. If you're taking hits, runs, and RBIs, then yes, him getting on base one time and it's a single, that could still hurt you, right? Next guy walks up, I think it's Vargas in the lineup right now behind him. Boom, home run. Benintendi scores a run. You're out there, right? So that's why I do think that there is a little bit of a good look here for the bases, because even if he does get on, I think he hits a single, bloops a fastball into the outfield, something like that. One thing to note too, against righties, which again Berger is a righty, Benintendi, though he's been struggling this season, he's actually the worst in the projected lineup today in terms of both average and OPS. He's got a 183 average and a 590 OPS against righties last 30 days. So this is not exactly his best matchup. If we want to look at this from a trend perspective in terms of, how often he's hit it, on the season, he's hit the under in 65% of games. You bump that up against righties, 68% of games. You look at on the road against righties, which he's on the road against righty today, 69% of games. So realistically, that fastball being the only glimmer of hope for Benintendi, and this point of weakness, I guess, our kryptonite here for our under. But I do think that that's kind of minor in the grand scheme of things with everything else that we're looking at. So Benintendi under 1.5 bases. Before we do get to the next two plays, guys, no vig. Talked to you about them yesterday, talking to you about them today. Go ahead and sign up. I have a link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Add this to your sportsbook arsenal. You'll be able to odd shop, get better odds out there. Great lines on player props, great lines on money lines for sure too. And the great thing is it's a peer-to-peer exchange. So that is why you're getting those lines, right? It's another human over there setting their own line and you're taking the opposite side. You're not paying that tax, the VIG, hence no VIG, to operate and use these sportsbooks. Go check it out, guys. Link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Let's get to play number 3 here. Ivan Herrera, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We're getting minus 105 odds, which I do think is very, very fair here. I do like his matchup, and I do think that, Will Warren is a guy that has what it takes to be able to pitch well. I don't know if we can necessarily say he's pitching as well as he was early, in the beginning of the season, but first off, this isn't the most electric St. Louis offense right now. Yes, yesterday they scored, but Yankees scored more, right? And Herrera in this spot, 214 against righties last 30 days, just a 514 OPS. We're going to get the fastball, sinker, slider combo. 2 of those pitches he hits terribly. The fastball, minus 2.1 runs above average last 30 days. The sinker, the slider, minus 1.5. The sinker, okay, 2.5, right? It's a positive number, but still nothing that's really, really alarming. In terms of his trend to this number, it looks pretty good too. Now, obviously, he's a very good player, but I think we have him in a pretty damn good situation. So For minus 105 odds, we're getting a guy that's hit this in 8 of his last 10 games. He's hit it in 51% of his games this year, but it bumps up to, I think, 55 against righties. At home, it also gets worse. Just 54% of his games, or excuse me, yeah, just 46% of his games he's gone over. And like I mentioned, I like him against righties. 273 average against righties this year, which is bumped down from his 293, but he's not doing too hot right now. I already mentioned, right? In terms of his last 30 days, that 90, that 273 goes all the way down here to 214 last 30. So more recently than not, he's kind of struggled, right? And Will Warren against right-handed bats, the credit we can give him here. 211 batting average against a WOBA of 256. The fastball, this is going to be a pitch that he sees. Like I said, he's not hitting that all tremendously. His WOBA drops. The slider, his WOBA drops. The sinker is again the one we have to worry about. And Herrera against the slider strikes out 25% of the time. Now, one thing I wish I had the visual to show you guys here to screen share, but picture a heat map, right? In fact, let me try and take a screenshot and put this on the screen right now so you guys could see it. How about that, Mr. Technology over here? All right, so this is the sinker, the pitch that I am quote unquote worried about. Look at where we see Will Warren throw that two right handed bats. Way down and away, right? And it's like a lot of the times down there. Look at where Herrera likes to hit it. So unless Will Warren absolutely fudges up and has that sinker high and inside, I don't even know if the sinker will be an ultimate problem, right? So I love the fact that even the pitch that we're worried about, Will Warren doesn't really mess around and throw that two right-handed bats. So this could be a good spot here for an under hits, runs, and RBIs. Thought about the bases as well, but I don't think it's going to be an absolute electric day from this St. Louis offense that I don't believe is all that good. All right, our last play of the day here, play number 4. Bounced back and forth between Houston money line and the Astros team total over. And then I said, you know what, screw it. Let's take what I would consider, knock on wood, the safe approach here. Get that 3.5, pay a little bit of juice because I do think that they can have a decent day against Dean Kramer here. Dean Kramer is coming off of a decent start there, right? He pitched very, very deep into the game. It was against Seattle, I believe, right? Yeah, Seattle. He went 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Christian Javier is coming off a game against Boston, 5 innings, 2 earned, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. He did allow the home run. That was his first start of the season. That's kind of the thing that kept me off of Houston money line for a second, and the fact that like everyone and their grandmother's ex-boyfriend from high school went in the bullpen yesterday for Houston. Yes, a lot of guys in the bullpen went for Baltimore too, so maybe this could be a shootout late in the game. But that's ended up being why I kind of pivoted and saying, okay, well, if there's going to be shootout late in the game, then we might have some late inning runs here. And I like Houston to begin with. Boom, let's look at their team total over, right? I do think that it's going to be a spot in which we can hopefully see some Dean Kramer regression after last start. He does have some decent starts against Houston, but we're dating back a couple years now. Yeah, I think he does have a couple decent starts against Houston dating back a couple years, but his most recent start against them, which was last year, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. If we get that, if he can allow 2, which I think we might even get 3 off Kramer today, if we can get 2 off of him, I think we're cooking with fire. Again, you date back to like 2022 and beyond that, his numbers actually look pretty good, but it's more of what have you done for me lately? It's not all the best. If you do like Houston on the money line and it is a better odd spot in terms of price you're paying, I would say, Christian Javier, last 3 starts against them, dating back a couple years now too. Obviously being injured, coming back now, hasn't seen them this year. 1 earned run, 2 earned run, and 0 earned runs in his last, I believe it's his last 16 innings against them, 1.8 ERA. So, yes, you could do that, but the bullpen kind of worried me a little bit. I think this Astros team can hit what Kramer's going to throw their way. In terms of his pitch mix, I do like that as well. It's not exactly the most, thrilling, but he's going to throw the fastball. Okay, this is a team that kind of struggles against fastball. But if he goes to the cutter and the sinker, I think we could see some nice plays out of that. The curveball, number 2 in the league in terms of runs above averages, Houston. And then that sinker, middle-ish of the pack, but the splitter and the cutter are 2 things that I'm really, really interested in. Cutter, 6th, splitter, 5th in terms of runs above average last 30 days. So, yeah, I like this spot. This is an Astros team that some of those guys at the top of the order, Pena, Altuve, Correa, all hit righties really, really well. Diaz as well, Yannier Diaz hits righties really, really well. Actually, I do like him today. We have him for a really good pitch mix rating, so maybe he could be a player prop pivot as well. But, guys, that is going to be play number 4. Just to do a little recap here, we can do that real quick before we sign off. We have play number 1. Yes, it might be crazy because this Toronto team can put up $1 million in the first 5 themselves. I'm trusting Eovaldi, however, under 4.5 in that game. Play number 2 is Andrew Benintendi, under in his bases. Play number 3, Ivan Herrera here, under in hits, runs, and RBIs. Play number 4, which you just talked about, Houston over 3.5 as their team total. Really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead and comment 14 if you made it this far into the road video. Tomorrow we're traveling super early. We might get a regular video or depends on our travel times, but within the next day or two, we'll be back to the regular scheduled programming in which we obviously have our normal videos back. But we do have a couple trips coming up with weddings and whatnot, so that's why we're making some advancements and upgrades to our road setup to hopefully look pretty good. And I'd love to at one point get the bandwidth to be able to go on the road and make the normal videos that you guys love going through each and every game. We're just not there as of right now because of the business. So really do appreciate you guys when you tune into these road videos. I know they're a little bit different. Still want to make something. It'd be, I don't know, not like me to be on vacation and be like, you know what? Let's just take the day off. We don't need that. No, we want to keep growing this community, growing it with you guys, and you guys watching are more than 50% of that. You know what I mean? So really do appreciate it. Catch you guys in the next one. All right? Peace out.